Keep seeing people talk about the LA riot, talking about illegal criminals in their country. Let's go over all of the people that the Orange Cheeto has pardoned in 2025. Ross Ulbricht, who was serving life imprisonment plus 40 years, a $183 million fine. He was serving this for aiding and abetting distribution of substances over the internet, engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise, fraud with identification documents, conspiracy to commit money laundering, conspiracy to commit computer hacking. Andrew Zabavsky, who was serving 48 months imprisonment, 3 years supervised release for conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and aiding and abetting. Terrence Dale Sutton Jr., 66 months imprisonment, 3 years supervised release, conditioned upon 100 hours community service, unaliving in second degree, conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and aiding and abetting. Lauren Handy, Jonathan Darnell, Jay Smith, Paula Paulette Harlow, John Marshall, John Hinshaw, Heather Idoni, William Goodman, Joan Bell, Herb Girardi, Chester Gallagher, Calvin Zastro, Coleman Boyd, Caroline Davis, Paul Vaughn, Dennis Green, Eva Edel, Eva Zastro, James Zastro, Paul Place, Joel Curry, Justin Phillips, Bevelyn Beatty Williams, Christopher Moskininski. Almost all of those were for violations of the FACE Act, conspiracy against rights, clinic access obstruction, conspiracy to obstruct access to a clinic providing reproductive health services, that whole list of people. Rod Blažević, 14 years in prison, 2 years supervised release, $20,000 fine for wire fraud, 10 count. Conspiracy, attempted extortion, 4 count. Corrupt solicitation of funds, conspiracy to corrupt soliciting funds, 2 counts, making false statements. Brian Kelsey, 21 months imprisonment, 3 years supervised release, for conspiring to defraud the United States, violation of 18 U.S.C. 371, and with aiding and abetting the acceptance of excessive campaign contributions and violations of 52 U.S.C., etc., etc. Thomas Edward Caldwell, time served, tampering with documents or proceedings. Devin Archer, 1 year and 1 day's imprisonment, 1 year's supervised release, $43 million in restitution, conspiracy to commit securities fraud and securities fraud. Trevor Milton, 48 months in prison, 3 years supervised release, securities fraud and wire fraud. Arthur Hayes, Ben Delo, Samuel Reed, Gregory Dwyer, HDR Global Trading Limited, varying degrees for violating the Bank Secrecy Act. Michelle Fiore, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 6 count. Paul Walczak, 18 months imprisonment, 2 years supervised release, $4 million in restitution, willful failure to pay employment taxes, failure to file return information. Scott Howard Jenkins, 20 months imprisonment, 3 years supervised release, $600 fine for conspiracy to commit bribery concerning programs receiving federal funds, honest services mail fraud and honest service wire fraud, honest service mail fraud, honest service wire frauds, 3 counts, bribery concerning programs receiving federal funds, 7 counts. James Callahan, filing false labor union reports. Kevin Eric Baisden, 90 days imprisonment, suspended, 1 year supervised release, time served, 1 year supervised release, $50 fine, etc., etc. He has like 4 different. Those were for shoplifting, second degree theft, Bail Reform Act, second degree theft. Mark Bashaw, violation of lawful orders. Todd Julie Chrysley, 12 years prison for Todd, 7 years prison for Julie, $17 million restitution, bank fraud, and tax evasion. Kentrell Golden, 23 months prison, 5 years probation, $200,000 fine, illegal possession of pew-pews and substance charges. Michael Grimm, 8 months imprisonment, 1 year supervised release, conditioned upon 2 hours community service, $148,000 restitution, aiding and assisting in the preparation of false and fraudulent tax returns. Michael Ray Harris, 235 months imprisonment, 5 years supervised release, $80,000 in fines, conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute and to aid and abet possession and distribution of snow, aiding and abetting possession with intent to distribute snow, possession with intent to distribute snow. James Marlene Carnan, 5 years probation on condition upon 4 hours of community service, $250,000 fine for James, 2 years probation. Knowingly and willfully permitted a convicted felon to be engaging in business of insurance for James, permitting a convicted felon to engage in the business of insurance for Marlene. Tanner J. Mansell, it keeps going. Theft of property with special maritime jurisdiction, John R. Moore Jr., theft of property with special maritime jurisdiction. John Rowland, conspiracy to defraud the United States, falsification of records in a federal investigation, conspiracy causing false statements, 2 counts, illegal campaign contribution, 2 counts. Charles Overton Scott, conspiracy to commit securities fraud. Alexander Sittenfield, bribery concerning programs receiving federal funds, attempted extortion under control of official right. Earl Lamont Smith, theft of government property. Charles LeVar Tanner, conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute 5 kg or more of snow. Attempt to possess with intent to distribute 5 kg more of snow. Jeremy Young Hutchinson, conspiracy to commit bribery, aiding and abetting filing a false income return, conspiracy, criminal forfeiture of property. Plus 1,500 plus January 6th defendants. But it's about getting criminals off the street. It's about protecting the general public. And it's definitely all the illegals committing the crimes, right?